want to talk to you about growing as a human being, about what is life all about growing from the basics in deeper knowledge to be able to make good, intelligent decisions in life, and essentially to give you the knowledge that you need in order to be the equivalent of someone who is in control of their life. Now, of course, there are different levels, there are different branches, there are different specializations in knowledge, and searching for the truth is an interesting thing, because there is things going on which you should know about. There are things that you should be trying to understand which you should know about, because if you're not trying to understand them, then you won't understand the fullness of all the messages that people who are understanding these things are trying to tell you, to warn you, and also to call on you for assistance, because we're all in this together. And the reality is, there's a big choice coming up soon, and we'll be beyond the point of no return. And once that point of no return is reached, some people will have made a poor decision which will affect them for the rest of their lives, and more so, perhaps for eternity. And so the reality is, we need to be smart. We need to understand what's going on. We need to stop laughing at all these people who talk about conspiracy theories. Mind you, some of them are a little crazy. But you have to know, you have to sift the wheat. You can't just assume that someone's crazy, because in doing that, you're ignoring any truth that there may be. And if you jump to the conclusion that the message is crazy, which is easy to do, then you switch off and you receive nothing. One needs to investigate information, and if someone is saying that you need to know something which is important, then you really should listen, because to do anything less would be foolhardy. It takes a lot more faith to say that something is rubbish than it does to actually pursue, to try and understand the truth, to test whether it's rubbish. Any fool can quote someone else, but understand, because without understanding, one is nothing. Truly, without understanding, you're just a sheep. You're just a slave, just a workman. You're just told what to do, told what to believe, and you go through it all. And then you die, and it's over. Meanwhile, you've been a slave to the system, and you've been the workforce that they wanted on tap. A lot of times nowadays, people are dying of cancers and other things for many reasons. Some of them are environmental poisonings in chemicals or atomic factors, nuclear. Others, they're attitudes. Attitudes can kill you. There's all these things that people on about cancer, and then the cancer turns up and they cut the cancer out. The cancer isn't the problem. The problem is what caused the cancer. And that is attitude. Gratitude. You need gratitude to overcome cancer. Not grateful that you got the cancer. Let's get some context here. It's grateful that you have the gift of life. So many people have got life, good health, and they're whinging and complaining all the time because this isn't right and that isn't right. They're making a storm in the teacup into something which affects their whole spiritual feeling. And that spiritual feeling is going on in their body. It's being transmitted out from them in their general atmosphere. Everything's energy, everything's radiating something outwards. And this collective radiation that they're putting out is transmitting. And if you've seen the movie-length documentary called The Secret, it's the law of attraction. You're actually attracting stuff to you, and if you think of rubbish, you're going to be attracting rubbish to yourself. And the reality is that you are in control of this, and that you need to take back the wheel. You need to believe and perform thoughts which grow into what you do want rather than what you don't want. The people who have the best doctors that money can buy for cancer treatment, these get cut to pieces, they get radiated, and all the way along the way, the business of medicine is making money. My wife had cancer in the breast. This is exactly what they wanted to do, and then it was in her liver. And I said, in a way, you can probably thank God that it is in your liver, because otherwise these bastards would have talked you into cutting your breast off. But because it's already in the liver, that would be like shutting the gate after the bull has bolted, or the horse, or whatever it is. The point is, all it would be doing is giving them their wages and running the business. Now, by faith, by understanding that you are part of the healing process and taking responsibility for that, you build what is necessary to heal. The reality is there's three things you can do. You can build, you can subtract and destroy, as it were, or you can do nothing and just go along the way you were going, which is also usually destructive. That's why you got to this point. So to go on normally is destructive, or you can even go more destructive, or you can build the faith. And what a lot of people do is they want to go for positive thinking. Positive thinking without emotion is rubbish. Emotion is the feeling factor. Emotion is where all the energy is. You know how much energy is in emotion. There is heaps of energy there. And that's the energy we want to apply to your health, to your appreciation of life, the joy of being alive, and building on that. And so you're not focusing on the negative of the cancer, you're not focusing on the fear. Now fear is another energy, and it feeds cancer. This is why people get a lot of trouble. This is why people have their operation, so they cut the fear out. And cancer goes into remission, but they don't actually connect this emotional aspect to it. And so when it goes into remission, what happens is people think, oh, well, I'm cured. Then they go back to their old ways, which is what gave them the cancer in the first place. Because it's so easy to fall back into the old ways. It's habit, it's learnt, it's programmed, and it feels normal. In fact, the society and the people that you grow up with, the family, the people have come to accept you as being that's the way you are. And in fact, people will sort of sometimes try to push you back into that mold because, hey, you're changing, you're not supposed to change, you're this way. People don't like change. And so the reality is, we need to take responsibility. We need to come to understand the interconnectivity of the energy within us, within our emotions, within our mind and our thinking, all stored energy like a computer, the transmission effect. And when it all comes down to it, it comes down to this, that you need to think healthy thoughts. Don't think harmful thoughts. And likewise, do healthy deeds, not unhealthy deeds. Eat healthy food, not unhealthy food. Use your body, activities, your muscles, otherwise you'll lose them. Muscles deteriorate if you don't use them. Also, same thing with faculties. Use your mind, use your brain, use your memory. Practice these things. And this is the key, the imagination. In the imagination, everyone is like a god. Everything that you think is possible in your imagination. And the funny thing is, in your imagination, if you do it often enough in your imagination and you start to believe it in your reality, this is how you program your mind to renew your mind. This is how you take on the reality of being in the image of God. And this is a higher level of mind. This is where you start to understand the interactions. This is where you've gone from child through to teenager, through to adult, to a wiser older person. That's the reality of the principle of the wisdom to evolving or growing into God. It's a pathway within your mind, within your intelligence, within your emotions, coming to know every part of your being and feel it and know it and understand it and be one with it. As part logic and intellect, as part intuition and feeling, and it's also part of allowing for inspiration to come as if God himself spoke it, or as if someone on the internet just sent you an email with this really great idea in it. Thank you for listening.